Okay folks, today I'm going to show you how to save one of your favorite factory presets into your user preset folder. Let's say I know that I like particular factory presets. All of the preset collections located above the shell empty presets are going to be considered factory presets. These are ones that are built for you and included in the software, where you can basically just point and click and get things running. They're very extensive and a bunch of them. And so what I have decided to do is there's so many good ones within the framework of these trees of presets that I wanted to isolate them and move them, save them into my user folder so I can find them easier. So I'm going to show you how to do that. I've already done a number of them, but if I show you one, you can do the rest yourself. So there's one in particular that I really like in this detox program, the single steps and the metals. So this is removing the metals section of the detox terrain protocol. And you can see there's extensive notes. The programs included here are arsenic, mercury toxicity, heavy metal toxicity, and calcifications. So this is one I'm going to be running all the time, and I want to be able to find it quickly. So what I'm going to do is save it into my user folder, and I am going to highlight this here, this text right here, right click it, and copy it, because that way it's just easier to copy and paste it once I save it, and I'll show you how that works. So I want to save it to my user folder, and in order to do that, I just click on this little icon, the old-fashioned floppy disk, and it will open up to save it to the user folder. I will now, in this empty field, right click it and click paste, and now I've got my remote 01 metals David Burke, so I know what that is. I will save it rather than putting it in my remote folder. I'm going to reserve my remote folder into ones that I create, and I'll show you that in just a bit. But I'm going to save this here, and now I'll go ahead and go to my user home, my user folder home, and you'll see that all of these I've basically taken from the factory presets and I've put them in my user folder. So I've got the broad spectrum antibiotic. I'll just go over these briefly just to describe why I like these so much. This is basically the greatest hits, and if you're really not sure what the problem is, this is something that from a mathematical perspective you got good odds of hitting something that's important to you. The Cancer All Detox program is very good. This is kind of a maintenance program. Once you get into once you go through a protocol, or you finish your detox, or I guess I should say once you finish your terrain protocol, this is kind of a maintenance shortened version of the terrain protocol that you can run basically 24/7 if you wish, while you're running other programs. So I like this one in particular because it's got the mercury detox included still. I believe the Morgellons and Lyme maintenance program does not include the mercury detox. So since I'm focusing on mercury detox, I want to run this one. This is the terrain protocol, of course, which I just want to be able to break out and have in my user folder because I run it quite often. General purpose biofeedback scan. This is a top 300. This is really more designed for grading the program. So it'll take about 30 minutes to run this biofeedback scan. And but out of these top 300 in the database, you will get the top of the top. So you could theoretically save the top 10 or top 20 of the 300 and place them in a, create a program with it and run it. So I really like this one. It's very good. All right, getting back to where we were. Holder-Clark converged sweep. This is the frequency set that covers a range of the Holder-Clark range of pathogens. It's from 76,000 to 880,000 hertz. So it's a rather somewhat of a cluster bomb, if you will, for pathogens. I kind of like that one. Of course, I will supplement with probiotics when I do that, or fermented foods, just to kind of help the good bacteria in the gut. Immune system stimulation, you can't go wrong with that one. Kundalini is kind of a chakra tune-up and chiropractic adjustment. That's kind of how I think of it. That's the way I perceive it. This is the maintenance programs in the Morgellons and Lyme. As you can see, it has detox programs, but not detox mercury. So, but occasionally I'll run this one too. Overall dental health is really good if you got some dental issues. This is the one I just saved, the remove metals section of the protocol, of the terrain protocol. This one was, I think, from a previous version, but it included metals, pesticides, and fluoride, and glyphosate. So it was kind of pretty intense, but I saved it. This is a good one. This one's buried in the Morgellons and Lyme protocol. This is basically a healing program with a bunch of healing programs. And what I do is I would take, you'll see at the very bottom it says your scan results. Well, since I'm not doing a scan, but I'll want to run this, I'll just go to the Programs tab and double click on your scan results, because this is basically a placeholder. Just eliminate that, and then now I'll go and run it. I'll do the allow generator overrides and click start, and that's kind of how that works. Alright, so we'll go back. Here's another really good one, vitamins and minerals. Can't go wrong with this one, buddies. And then you've got another healing program that involves collagen and mental clarity and essential oils. This is a really good one in my opinion. So again, I would go to the Programs tab and double click on my scan results to eliminate it before I ran it, because again, that's just a placeholder. It would be 0 hertz. No use running a program with 0 hertz in it. All right, Herxheimer helper. If you have some kind of herxing going on, this is helpful. Schumann resonators, one of my favorites. This is kind of like, in the way I perceive it, is it's great for all the EMFs that we get bombarded by cell phone towers and Wi-Fi's and what have you. Just seems to dissipate all that, and I've been running it 24/7. Really like it. Signal test, of course, you do for when you first get started and hook up your remote. Sleep and insomnia is a popular one. Haven't really tried that one yet, but I want to, so I selected it and kind of stuck it out like a thumb so I could see it. And then Song of the Spine is one that's very similar to a program in the Kundalini program, but slightly different. So I haven't run that one yet, but I want to get around to experimenting with that. It's kind of like a must be like a tune-up, chakra tune-up, because it's based on tuning forks along the spine. I think Ed Vaughn created this one, so he would probably be more able to tell us how he created this with the tuning forks and what have you. I think Manuel Malo came up with a particular formula and waveforms, so quite complex, a little bit over my head, but hey, that's the beauty of the software. You get the benefit of the knowledge and intelligence of someone else who's figured it out, and all you have to do is point and click. So that's the great part about all these factory presets, and that's why I want to break them out so I can use them instead of them being buried. All right, folks, well, that's kind of how it works. Now I can go to my user home, and if I want to go to my remote folder, these are all the ones that I've created over the past several months. As you can see, I've been focusing on the mercury detox elements. So you will see this is basically patterning. If somebody is working with the Cutler protocol that involves alpha lipoic acid and then detoxing mercury. Basically, I've got this set up as a chain to run a lipoic acid frequency and then detox mercury out of my body, and this just keeps looping. And that's kind of an electronic way of what Cutler's protocol provides for. I'll have adrenal support, which is really important when you're detoxing mercury. I'll have an antioxidant blend, that I created. Chronic fatigue was an issue. Colon, it's always a good time to keep your colon moving. Depression and anxiety, I just created some sets that relate to Cutler protocol. Detoxing mercury, this is my classic mercury detox programs for Cutler protocol. DNA healing, this is something I just made up. Essential oil medley. Lipoic acid, if I just want to run just lipoic acid, I can do that. These are some of the with the Cutler's protocol, you take about 100 vitamins and minerals. That's an exaggeration, but basically I've got all my vitamins and minerals that Cutler recommends built into 3 different long-running programs. So these are my vitamins: vitamin A, vitamin B. I basically just alphabetize them: A, B, C, D, E. CoQ10, milk thistle, alpha-linoleic acid, L-lysine, L-arginine, magnesium. If you're familiar with the Cutler protocol, you're going to recognize all of these: DHEA, pregnenolone, hydrocortisone. Oh gosh, more stuff. So these aren't necessarily required to be taken when you're doing Cutler protocol. It's just you take them when you need to. But there's so many different ones, and there's so many different ones that are in the programs, which is great. The molecular weight programs provide for, SAMe and L-glutamine and glycine and caprylic acid and tyrosine and ginkgo and NADH, quercetin. All this stuff is in the database. I threw in some CBD and, a couple of different things just out of curiosity. Human growth hormone, that's kind of a wild one. Okay, that's not really Cutler protocol, but I threw it in there just for fun. This is more Cutler supplements, acetylcholine, aldosterone, lipoic acid, ergoid mesylate for the head, for the brain, dopamine, norepinephrine, bupropion, oxygen, acetylcholine. You get the idea. And I have one for all the meridians. And the way I set it up was I do governing vessel and conception vessel, then a individual meridian, and governing and conception, and an individual one, just to keep things moving. That's just the way I set it up. All the minerals. So sometimes I'll just run minerals. Yeah, this is all the normalizing sets, just balancing brain function, heart function, liver function, pituitary, pineal. Yeah. And then got another one that's got a blend of Cutler suggested selenium, milk thistle, licorice. Anyway, those are my created user presets. And then now I have in my folder all of my favorite factory presets too. So anyway, that kind of gives you an idea of how to kind of maximize the use of this software to keep it simple, make it easy on yourself to find what you're going to be using all the time. I started out with 2 generators, well actually just 1. Then started the second one after about 10 days, and then a month later I got 3 more, and now I've got another one. So I'm running 6 and I'm ordering 2 more, so I'll have 8 total. And that way I can have a lot of flexibility with running healing programs while I'm running either killing programs or mercury detox programs, you know. So that's how to create or how to move a factory preset into your user preset folder, and describing some of my favorites so that you can kind of see some of these that are a little bit buried, but once you know where they are, you might want to break them out and put them in your user folder, because chances are you're going to be wanting to use them quite often. So I hope this has been helpful to you. Thanks for watching.